Hello everyone, this is Moehawkman, and today I am bringing you another free-to-play money-making guide that is a bit more interesting than my other ones because, to be honest, I myself did not think that this could possibly be a good money-making method. And this is stealing from vegetable stalls. Now you're probably wondering, wait a second, thieving, isn't that a members only skill? Well, no, because in free-to-play you can get up to level 5 thieving, which is more than required to actually steal from these vegetable stalls, which only requires level 2 thieving. Now, as for the money itself, you can make anywhere between 800k and 1.1 million GP because of RNG itself. Now, there are 5 things that you can get from these vegetable stalls. Those are potatoes, tomatoes, cabbages, onions, and garlics. But you don't need the garlics because, for one, they don't sell very good in the GE because they're only worth 300 GP, at least at the time of this recording. And when I tried to sell them to the GE itself, I put them for 100 GP and not a single one bought. So I was like, okay, I'm just not even going to keep these and just sell the rest of the stuff. Now, the reason why this method can make you so much more money than expected, one of the reasons is player-owned farms in members, because there are certain animals that eat only vegetables, or they are a basic requirement to feed other animals, or they need to be combined with other food to feed animals. And vegetables are one of the cheapest things that you can get in the game, so that is why the price has risen so sharply recently. Now, like I said earlier, the amount of money you can make is completely RNG because you can get cabbages, which are worth the most out of all the 4 items that you can sell, or you can get tomatoes, which are the least worth out of the 4 items. And there are also times where you can actually just get a bunch of garlics, which actually just waste your time. And you'll notice that I'm dropping them as I get them because they're just not worth it to keep it. And this is the reason why you can make anywhere between 800k and 1.1 million because of the massive amount of RNG involved. So you could get 10 cabbages in a row, or you get 10 onions in a row, or you get a mixture, which is kind of a waste of time, but it's not like you have a choice. So you'll also notice that I'm standing on the opposite side of the vegetable shop. The reason why I'm doing this is because if you're standing in the middle, the other owners will see you and they will automatically alert the guard, which is, I believe, a level 9 guard, but obviously that's not very high, so you can either kill him or you can just run away and he'll eventually lose his aggro and just go back to whatever he was doing and on his normal patrol route. Now, another reason why I'm standing on this particular corner is because it's the closest to the bank, which is just south of you in that little training area, and the guard doesn't actually come to that side very often. I believe in the 1 hour that I did this test, he only came around once, and even then he didn't actually stop me from stealing because he couldn't see me for some reason, because the AI's line of sight is in a straight line majority of the time. So since he wasn't diagonal to me, he couldn't actually see me stealing, so he was not alerted. Now that could be different for you, but chances are you can kill him because he's only level 9 and that's not very high for anyone. Even if you're a skiller account, you could probably just run away because he's not going to one-shot you because he's just too low of a level to kill you at all. Now, the one real gripe I have about this method is that it's very, very click intensive, because in real time, the stall regens about every 2 seconds, and that means you have no choice but to pay attention. But this is also the reason why you make so much money from this method, because it regens very, very quickly. So if you yourself were going to try this in a 1 hour test, I expect that you would be able to fill up maybe 50 to 53 inventories full of stuff just because of how much RNG is involved. Because if you get too many garlics, you gotta drop them, you gotta steal them again, and that is precious time that you are losing from stealing more valuable vegetables. Now, there is one other slight issue that might happen if you do this method, and that is someone might actually come along and try to steal your same vegetables. Now, 90% of the time, this probably won't be the case, because most players want AFK methods, and this is not an AFK method. This is completely pay attention, click, and keep going kind of method. Now, if you pause every once in a while, this won't affect your GP per hour, but if you do this every few seconds, or you miss a click, or you just time it off, you could lose thousands of GP. Now let's move on to the results and the price check. As you can see here, I managed to steal 351 potatoes, 228 cabbages, 220 onions, and 209 tomatoes. And the total price check for this is 930,849 GP. That's pretty good when you consider that I only did this for an hour. Now I could have probably made around maybe 30 to 40k more if I didn't get as many garlics as I did, but since this was only a test and not a true method of me just continuously stealing to make money, that doesn't matter too much in my opinion. And now for the selling portion. I was slightly surprised that the items insta-sold for as much as they did, because I made nearly 100k more than what the basic GE price said, and everything obviously insta-sold for much higher than their normal price. And I ended up making 1,025,000 from this 1 hour test. Now, would I recommend this method for anyone else to do? Yes and no, because smithing has kind of been on the low turn recently. You don't make nearly as much money, but it is more AFKable than this method. But this method could make you more money in the long run just because vegetable prices seem to be increasing even though it's only slightly every day because of player-owned farms. So it's kind of your choice about what you want to do. If you want to go AFK, I would say do smithing, but you won't make as much money in the long run. If you're paying attention, I would suggest this method because you could potentially just make much more money in the long run. Anyways guys, this has been your fellow RuneScaper Moehawkman. Be kind to one another, be safe, have a nice day. Peace out everyone.